Hello everybody, Bets Golden here. Today I'm going to be making a card with you using some supplies that I have on hand. Some stamps and embossing powder and then some Color Burst by Ken Oliver. So first let me show you the color burst that I'm going to be using, and excuse my hands, they are inky because I just did this for the blog. So make sure you check out the blog to see literally the step-by-step process there. But I'm going to show you here too. These are the colors that I'm going to use to make my color burst card. There are things that you need to keep in mind since this is a watercolor base, and that is, in order to avoid that brown or muddy look, if that's not your thing, you need to make sure you stay within your color families. So keep your cools with your cools, and that's anything that is a blue based, and then keep your warms with your warms, and that's anything that is red. So for example, blues can be mixed with the blues or the greens, reds can be mixed with reds and oranges and yellows, and then the only what's the word I'm looking for? The only color that does not apply to, and you have to follow really specific rules with, or else whatever you mix this with will turn brown, and that is purple. Purple you can only mix with other shades of purple, or red and blue, or just blue, or just red. If you want to do red and blue with purple, that's cool, but you're going to have to definitely make a distinction between the two because it'll all turn out purple, if you know what I mean, because red and blue make purple, so that's why you can use those colors. So anyway, just with that bit of information, we're going to be sticking with a warm color card, orange, lemon yellow, and then a crimson. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you how to do this on a watercolor paper. This is just a watercolor paper that I got from my stash, and I'm not going to be trimming it down until the very end when it's all dry and it's all been said and done. So I'm going to emboss this to allow for some really cool puddling to occur. So this is one way you can do this. And I'm going to use my platform. So I'm going to take my embossing in clear first. And I'm going to ink this up. And I'm actually going to lay this out. And this is a Brutus Monroe stamp I'm using. It's a beautiful rose. I'm going to actually lay this down, stamp this image about 3 times. That's the beauty of using your stamping platform, is that you can stamp it if you miss the spot. Watercolor paper is rather absorbent, so I really want to make sure that I got a nice coverage, and since it is so absorbent, it does tend to absorb that ink and dry quicker than another kind of paper, and I need it to stay kind of wet so that I can go ahead and emboss it, because the embossing powder has to stick to something, right? So it needs to be wet. And this way also, I'm just making sure that I get a nice good coverage. I'm a massager. There's the CPR stamper, and there's the massager. I'm the massager. All right, and then I actually am starting to see that, so I think one more stamp at this and then we'll be good. All right, so I'll set that aside. Here we go. This mat really likes my my stamp platform. Okay. All right, now from here, I'm going to remove my image. I didn't cut it down again because I wanted to have an opportunity, a place for those magnets to hold. So I'm just going to take my little tray and my gilded Brutus Monroe embossing powder and just start to sprinkle this down. Embossing powder can be kind of scary because you can't exactly see where it's going. And it's okay since I use a lot, because I'm just going to tap it right back into my little jar. So now I'm going to go ahead and just heat set this. All right, that is beautiful gold, and we are ready to go ahead and lay out some of our color burst color. The first color that I'm going to lay down is going to be my lemon. I always like to start from the lightest to the darkest, and you just take it, and I like to start up in the corner, and you just tap it. And then after the lemon, I'm going to lay the orange. And then from there, I'm going to lay out the crimson, which is the red. Okay, now this is the fun part. We get to watch the magic happen. So I am going to take my mister and just mist it. And there we go. That is so pretty. Do you see how it's all puddling up in certain spots through the embossing? So I'm going to go ahead and just heat set this. And as I heat set it, it'll still move it around. So look how gorgeous that image is. It is so pretty. It looks like watercolor, just marble beautifulness. And we're going to go ahead and turn this into our card. I'm going to let this still dry a little bit more. I'm going to heat it once again with the heat gun when I'm ready to put it together. In the meantime, I'm going to get our card base ready and cut down our sentiment and stamp it. So let's go ahead and do this as we set this aside to let it dry. So for this, we're going to use the sentiment stack, and I'm going to use just a note. You don't have to put these on a foam pad because it's not that clear embossed. It's more of a rubber, so it won't really need it. In fact, if you did, you may end up with the box too. So I'm just going to ink this up with my Raven Detail ink. All right, and see, I did still get some of that because I pushed too hard, but that's okay. We will go ahead and cut that off. No big deal. All right, so that was the sentiment off of this stack. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. I'll show you this really cool cutter that I have. I found it at the Summer Mixed Media show, and excuse my dirty desktop, but you know, I craft. It's a cutter bug, and or it's a cutter putter, I think is what it's called. No, it's a Caterpillar Pro. Excuse me. They have another one that folds up, which is really cool too. But I got this Mondo one because I just keep it over here and use it all the time. So you can turn it on and off, and the line shows you exactly where it's going to cut. So like this didn't get entirely straight on my image. So I'm just going to turn it slightly and boom, there it goes. And then I'm going to do it again. Move it up a little bit so I can see it. All right. This is a rotary cutter that's like a titanium, so I never have to replace the blade. You have no idea how tired I got having to replace my Fiskar blade because I'd lose it. And then I'm going to cut this down to size. All right, so that's that. I'm going to go ahead and just ink the edges of this real quick. And then I'm going to cut down my card base. My card base is 4.5, excuse me, I believe it's 4 by 5.5. And I want to make the background red. So I have some really fun self-adhesive cardstock that I'm going to use. So the first thing I'm going to do, so if I don't want to use this, I can just turn it off because I'm kind of done with it now. And I can just cut this down to 4. And then cut this down by 5 to 5.5. And now we are ready to put this on my card base. And I don't like to fold the card until after I have this down. So I just peel off the back. I think I got this at Joann's. It was in a stack. And it was ridiculously cheap. All right, and then I'm just going to line this up. Smash that down. Fold this on over. I'm going to take and I'm going to ink the edges again. I just like the look of a black edge. All right. So my card base is ready for my beautiful flowers, which I need to check on, see how they're doing. I'm going to get another heat blast here. All right, and I'm going to cut this down. Now, I do need the light on this because my image probably isn't straight, which is okay because I don't necessarily want it to be 4 inches. I want it to be slightly smaller. I mean, I can keep that and use it for something. Isn't that cool? Ooh, look at this one. So cool. Okay. Careful of your fingers. I was careful. Okay, so the distance on this is 5.5 on the top. So let me see what happens here if I cut this down like so. Let me just see. Yeah, I want to take a little bit more off the top or the bottom. I think I'll take it off. A little bit there, and then a little bit here. Let's see now how I like it. Yes, I like that a lot better. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm done with my cutting board, so I can move that out of the way. So let me go ahead and just ink the edges of this one to make it pop. There we go. And I wanted to add some washi tape to this. I pulled out this one, but I think that's a little bit too big. So I might go ahead. I don't know. I might not like it. Yeah, I think I do like it. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop this down. And then I'm going to run a thin strip through that. And the reason why I'm using this washi tape is because I want to add my just a note, and I don't want it just to sit on the card. I'd rather have it like this, so it kind of makes sense, you know, if that makes any sense. And then I'm just gonna take and put my card together. I like to make flat cards that say just a note or thank you, because oftentimes I mail them, and I want them to be able to go through the mail on one stamp. I'm really embarrassed, but I've had a couple times when people have gotten a card that I've made and I've put 2 stamps on it, and the post office is demanding more money from my recipient, which I think is incredibly rude. So I always try to make it flat so that it can go through. I'm just going to use some craft glue to adhere this. And if the craft glue gets anywhere, it's no big deal. It does dry clear. I like craft glue because I can kind of move it around. I don't have to worry about it showing that white. Can't even tell it's there. And then I pulled some Masquerade bottle cap sequins out that are also Brutus Monroe. And I'm just gonna add a couple just to give it some sparkle and a little bit more interest. So I'm going to dab on my glue dots where I want it to go first. And I'm just going to do 3 in the corner and 2 on the bottom. And I'm not paying any attention to what colors I'm picking up. That's the fun of it. All right, and let me give you a closer view of this card. Anyway, so this is the card. This is the Colorburst card, and just with a few other supplies on hand. Pretty simple to make. The results are stunning, and I did the embossing on the watercolor paper because I just wanted it to puddle up real nice in those spots, but you can still definitely distinctly see the beautiful stamp and the image behind it. And it's flat, so I can mail it. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please leave any comments you have in the comment section and share this with anyone you think may want to learn more about Colorburst or make their own card. Until next time, happy crafting.